All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Aboriginal Void Dweller. Welcome back to Tokihogushi. Last time, Tomoe just went on and she got it right in the butt. The new blue hair girl who, honestly, if it is a murder and not him going crazy, they got the kid from the beginning. It's got to be her, right? I mean, because there's no other suspects. Like, she somehow went there before to his room. But I seriously doubt it was. Like, I don't know, because she has no connection to Hinamizawa, so. Unless they just pull some random guy out of their ass. Because I can't think of who else it could possibly be unless, but then it would seem like everything Tomoe is doing is a wild goose chase if it actually was a suicide in the end. But anyway, last time, Tomoe ended up giving her and Natsumi some really great advice. And in the process of that, likely stopped a few incidents that happened in the other console arcs from even happening. So, at least in this timeline. So, good on them. Now I think hopefully Natsumi can have a nice relaxing school life. In this world at least. So, but Tomoe's quest still isn't done to find the murderer, if there even is one. Of that kid that Rena beat up ages ago. Wait, did I load the correct file? Oh, sorry, I didn't. Jeez. I accidentally saved it to page 7 instead of page 8. Oh well, instead of page 6. That was last time. Here we go. Sorry about that. You know what? I know this is gonna seem really weird, but I have to do this. It's OCD. I'm sorry. There we go. Well, isn't that a good thing? Sis, I think you probably did some good for that girl. I think she did too. If that's actually the case, then it's fine. We've never seen Madoka's casual clothes before. I don't think, at least. Tomoe sighed after saying that. A few days had passed since then, but not a single day went by without her thinking of Nagisa. That was her name, yeah. She apparently tried to make contact several times, but it was always at times when Tomoe was out. Ain't that just the way of things? Seriously. She considered calling the girls home at one point, but she thought her parents would get worried if they found out she was having periodic conversations with the police. So, in the end, they couldn't do it. She couldn't do it, yep. Madoka smiled at her kind-hearted older sister, but still felt some frustration welling up in her back. Ow! What was that for? We did Void Dweller? I don't remember it, honestly. I just remember seeing her in the police uniform. And what was that for me? You've been thinking about this forever. The dice have already been thrown, so wait for fate to handle the rest. Honestly, all your knowledge is about mundane things. You should spend more time learning about the law. Really? I don't remember seeing this before. Oh wait, oh my god, jeez. How many times have you received complaints about improperly assigned tickets? Oh my god! Oh my god, Madoka! The sign was in behind the tree! I couldn't help it, okay? You should direct your criticism at City Hall! How dare they hide signs behind trees? It's just a trap for innocent police officers to give wrong tickets! It's a conspiracy, I tells you! Besides... Hello, T. Welcome to the stream. Oh, hello. If it isn't Adachi. Okay. Huh? Is that you, Minai? Huh? I'll just give him like an Adachi-like voice because I can't see him as anything else. The two of them immediately halted their friendly argument as soon as they heard a voice calling out to them. And looking back, Tomoe found Sukata, who she had recently reunited with back in Tokyo. Sukata-senpai. Wow, it really is you. What a coincidence. It's a miracle ring into you here. Oh, wow. I think I really like how this voice sounds. Yay, another guy voice I can use. Oh, yeah. During their reunion last week, she did hear that he was going to be in the same prefecture. However, she never expected to see him again so soon. Senpai, are you here for work? Yeah, you could say that. Chiba-sensei will be giving a lecture in this town next week at the Saiki General Hospital. I'm on the way back after making arrangements there. Oh my god, James. Welcome to the stream. Yes, store brand Adachi. We have store brand Adachi, bootleg Rena, and Keiichi Advance. Is that so? Then it really does seem miraculous. But it was more than a miracle. Was it more than a miracle? More a miracle or an odd coincidence? It couldn't be. She considered it for a moment, but found the notion ridiculous and shook her head. There's no way this shifty-looking guy with messy hair and a business suit working for a politician could possibly be a villain. No way! It would be unprecedented! However, Tomoe suddenly noticed something shining in Sukata's hand, and her mood turned cold. Huh? By chance, are you Minai's? I'm a little sister, Madoka. A long time no see, Sukata-san. Wow, that cute little girl has really grown up. I remember you always following Minai around with a half-crying look on your face. Mind your tongue. I am a far more capable person nowadays. I'll have you know I only gave 5 wrong tickets last month. Oh, be quiet. She spoke harshly, but there was no room to deny what she said. At any rate, Sukata and Madoka had met before, back in the old days. Even though she was still an elementary school student at the time, they both remembered each other well. By the way, Minai. I can't tell if this is a typo or not. But if it wasn't a typo, wouldn't they put like an apostrophe right there? Do you remember the promise you made last time? Huh?
ほら、今度もし会えたらお茶でもって言っただろ?
Come on. You said that if we met again, we could have tea together, right? Oh, hello, G-chan! Yay! G-chan is here!
だから、いきなりでなんだけど、早速どうだ?
Welcome. You're about time to witness bootleg a store-brand Adachi. Here, who's totally not the villain. What are you even talking about? I will not have such slander. I know this is sudden, but how about going now?
食事でもいいけどな.
A meal would be fine too.
久々に会ったんだし、ちょっと話でも聞かせてくれよ.
It's been a long time, so it'd be nice to chat for a little while. Oh, his somewhat aggressive invitation put her in a defensive posture. Come with me or I'll throw you into a TV. Although, Tomoe recalled that he was always this way. He was strangely confident and familiar when dealing with women. Oh my god, he is Adachi. Thanks to that, she would probably regret turning down such a long-awaited invitation later on. Well, I suppose it's okay. Considering the promise she made, Tomoe turned to Madoka, intending to cancel her shopping plans for today. Hey, Madoka! Sorry, Sukata-san. Sis and I are about to go shopping. She promised she'd help me pick out some clothes. Madoka! Ultimate cock block! Huh? You have no idea, Apparition. You have no idea. Plus, going on a date after such a sudden meetup seems like a fling. Would you mind overlooking the promise just for today? Madoka. Even though she was speaking politely, Tomoe was confused by how overtly Madoka rejected him. At the very least, Madoka was very clever at turning the conversation around. In a situation like this, she'd easily tease her and say, well, take your time, and head home alone. But what was the meaning behind it this time? Wow, so you've already got a date today with your little sister. Oh, you're taking the train? No, we took my car today. It's the red one in the parking lot over there. Can you see it? Madoka pointed behind her with her thumb as she said that. Behind her was a short-term parking lot in front of the station, and Madoka's car was parked there in immediate view. Oh wow, G-chan. I see. Well, my apologies then. I'm just glad I was able to run into you twice after such a long time. Sorry, Minai. It's okay. Then, let's go out to eat sometime when you're free. Give me a call sometime soon. I gave you my business card before. You've still got it, right?
はい。
Oh, yes.
また連絡しますね。
I'll contact you again later.
頼んだよ。
I'm counting on it.
それじゃ。
See you later. Sakata quickly left after saying that. After watching him until he made it out of sight, the smile disappeared from Tomoe's face, and she stared intently at Madoka beside her.
どういうことよ。
That's okay, Ji-chan. Let me let you in on another secret. There was a girl named Flay in an old anime called Gundam Seed who was a really conniving evil bitch, and I totally loved the shit out of her. And I still think so. Yeah, I totally know what you mean. God, Gundam Seed was ages ago. What was that about?
別に
Nothing really.
別にってあの人は私の高校時代の先輩ですごくお世話になった人なのよ。
Nothing, you say? That man was my senpai in high school, and I owe a lot to him, you know.
なのにあんな対応はないんじゃない？
So why did you respond like that?
知ってるわよ。
I know all that.
高校時代の先輩で陸上部のキャプテン。
He was your senpai in high school and the captain of the track team. Oh, Mr. Heartthrob.
生徒会長もやってて、副会長の自他ともに認める彼氏候補さが。
He was also the student council president and the self-professed boyfriend of the vice president.
違いましたか、副会長さん。
Or am I mistaken, Madam Vice President? Tomoe remembered it clearly, so she blushed and remained silent. It had been a long time since she had gotten into conversation with Madoka about male-female relations, because she was always a little embarrassed about it. Again,
ひょっとしていつもの仕返し？
this arc is showing more sides to Tomoe, like her innocent side, in addition to her naive side that we saw before. You aren't stooping to retaliation, are you? Or else I might have to go pot kettle black on your ass.
あんたと所長の仲を邪魔してるから？
Because of me getting between you and the chief.
違うわよ。
That's not it.
ただちょっとね。
Well, maybe a little. After saying that, Madoka started to think she went too far, so she apologized. Then she spoke up with a serious expression.
私あの人嫌いなの。
I don't like him. He seems too much like a guy who would throw you into a TV.
初めて会った時から腹の底で何考えてるか全然わかんない人だったからさ。
Even from the first time I met him, deep in my gut, I could never get a read on what he was thinking.
なんでお姉ちゃんが付き合ってるのか理解できなかった。
I couldn't understand why you were going out with him, sis.
まどか？
Madoka. Tomoe was a little surprised to hear Madoka's first impression of Sukata. Well, not first, but at first as an adult. Oh, thank you, James. And congratulations. So happy with your college results. Woo! That was all you, though, James. So you know what? You should congratulate yourself as well. You did a good job. She acted completely indifferent to her sister's love life at the time. But deep down, was that how she truly felt? However, Madoka never pressured Tomoe to break up with him. In fact, compared to herself,
ごめんね。
I'm sorry.
え？なんで謝るのよ。
Huh? Why are you apologizing?
ただなんとなく。
Just speaking without thinking.
でもそれだったら私が先輩と付き合い始めた時にも言えばよかったのに。
But if that was the case, you should have said something when I first started dating him.
仕方ないじゃない。お姉ちゃんは男を見る目がなかったんだからさ。
Our first fun in a long time. Yay! One for every week of the year. Alright, let's see. Alright. It can't be helped, sis. You really don't have an eye for men.
悪口言われたと思って喧嘩になるのが目に見えてたし。
If I had said anything negative, it would only have turned into an argument.
ぶっ飛ばすわよ。
Ouch. Cutting deep.
だいたいあの仕草ははっきり言って男として最低だね。
They have a very specific mannerisms that clearly identify the voice kind of men.
あの人はお姉ちゃんと話してる最中に左手をポケットの中に隠したでしょ。
Did you notice he had his left hand in his pocket the whole time he was talking to you?
バレバレだっつうの。
What an obvious trick.
そもそも昔の知り合いと道でばったり会ったからっていきなり食事に誘う？
Don't you think it's odd to suddenly invite an old acquaintance out to eat during an unplanned encounter? But it happens all the time in visual novels. This ain't a visual novel! Isn't it?
しかも初対持ちが
And especially for someone who's married?
ありえないよ。
Unthinkable.
まあね。
Well, I suppose. Oh, wow, interesting. I didn't even realize that. I didn't even look. From the moment they met, Tomoe did notice that he had a ring on his left finger. Left ring finger. It would have been fine if he wore it proudly, but to conceal it while inviting someone out to tea was clearly a shameful act.
電話するの？
Have you called him?
しない。
No, I haven't.
食事する理由ないからね。
Because there's no reason to go out to eat. She wasn't lying. For Tomoe, who had a harsh view on the unfaithfulness of others, she absolutely would have refused a private dinner with a married man.
ま、藤田くんの奥さんとあんなことがあったばかりだからね。
Oh, that was really funny at the beginning. Well, maybe she's like Fujita-kun's wife.
もうゴリゴリよ。
A real handful.
確かにそうよね。
I bet!
笑いすぎだこの野郎。
He was smiling way too much.
ま、先輩の話はこれくらいにして。
Anyway, that's enough talking about senpai.
買い物終わった後の夕食は何する？
What would you like to do for dinner after we're done shopping?
じゃあおすすめの店があるよ。
Oh, well, there's this one highly recommended restaurant.
この前カオルさんと行った時にすっごく美味しくて。
I went with Kabu-san last time, and it was so delicious!
あんた、わざとか？
Did you seriously just go there?
失言でした。
Yeah, it was just a slip of the tongue. Silly Madoka, I better go back to my magical goyle stick. I'm clearly better at it. I hate that sound effect. I hate it. Hate that sound effect. It sucks. It just sucks. Like, what is that even supposed to be? Like, it's like stretching rubber of some kind. Stop using it, Higurashi console arcs. You have literally two sound effects. You have the freaking stretching rubber, and you have the gun. And you use the gun for doors and shit like that, and it really stands out. My god. You had two props in the prop room, and by god you were going to use them both, but seriously, stop. You don't need it. Sorry about that. That just got on my nerves. She went straight from a conversation about a sister's ex-boyfriend to one about her own lover. For the time being, Tomoe criticized her remark and walked towards the store with Madoka in a headlock. Ah, that was delicious. Eating 5 soybeans is a little excessive. The couple sitting next to us was staring like it was some kind of alien. I should have Void Dweller, but I only started noticing it like around Sommei and Sushi. It's kind of... I wish I had a counter for that. Regrettably, I can't speak today. Regrettably, the food at the restaurant they visited was exceptionally delicious. After all, Yamaoki was an Epicurean. The restaurant he recommended the other day, Angel Mort, was a step above the norm. Oh, G-chan! Oh my god. I want to see you too. I couldn't help it, I was hungry. Plus, I had that awkward encounter with Senpai, so it's perfectly natural for me to be like this. You are so stubborn. Even if you're having regrets. He's a married man, you know. Well, there's this thing about reusing sound effects, and there's a James, and there's a thing about like using them in inappropriate places. Like the only time that sound effect should ever be used is when something like rubber is being stretched out. But they use it all the time for completely random shit. It's so weird and so annoying. And like their other sound effect is clearly the sound of a gun cocking, but they use it for things like locking doors or opening doors and shit like that. And it's just so weird. So it's not the fact that it's reused a lot, although that is kind of incidental along with the main issue that they're using it in places that don't make sense. I love Apparition's take here. Higurashi console arcs, the squeezy it can't be helped more Daka edition. Even if you have regrets, he's a married man, you know. If you get caught up in an affair, I'll laugh myself to death. I know, I was just kidding. Sis, your jokes are hard to understand. I guess you're back to the leftover soived over rice lifestyle. Don't be so dramatic. Oh, would you mind lending me a little money? Oh, that's fine. I can borrow it from Kaoru-san. Sis, shouldn't you be properly saving money on your own? Huh? Exactly, Void Dweller. Exactly. Madoka was sifting through her pockets while talking, but she suddenly stopped and furrowed her eyebrows. What's wrong, Madoka?
しまった
Oh, whoops! Oh, shit! Because you said Shimata.
車に鍵かけっぱなしだった
I left my keys in the car.
は
Huh?
何やってるのよそれじゃ締め出し
That's Madoka! Laugh track. What are you saying? You mean we're locked out?
そういうことになるね
It seems that way. God damn it, Madoka! Why do you have to make such a ditz? Seriously? Now of all times! Apparently, she didn't notice that the key was still in the ignition when she locked the door. Madoka made mistakes like that from time to time.
たくどうしてあんたはそう抜けてるのよ
Seriously, how can you be so careless?
車降りるときは普通鍵抜くのが常識でしょうに
It's common sense to take out the key when you get out of the car. I locked my keys in the car once. It was about 7 or 8 years ago. And it was at work. It was thankfully at work, so I had already gotten to work. And I was only going into my car to take a short drive over to where I usually eat lunch. And I realized that my keys were stuck in the car. So I called a locksmith, but I ended up spending the majority of my lunch break eating at the university cafe and waiting for the locksmith to come. Jeez. Good thing it wasn't too cold that day.
いやーカオルさんの家ではメイドさんが全部やってくれるからなんか感覚鈍っちゃって
Well, the maids at Karu-san's house usually take care of that stuff, so I guess that's dulled my senses. Oh, the maid has taken care of these duties. I can't be bothered.
嘘をつけブルジョアぶってんじゃないわよ
You liar. He's not that bourgeois.
年のいった家政婦さんしかいないってこの前言ってたじゃない
Didn't you tell me earlier that he only has one housekeeper that started last year?
バレたか
Oh, busted. God damn it! I was trying to show off and find a good excuse at the same time! I hate the fact that you're a detective! It wouldn't take a detective to figure out that lie. Damn it! Meh! Madoka quickly stuck her tongue out and Tomoe lightly poked her on the forehead. Then she walked to the main phone in front of the parking lot, pulled a 10-yen coin out of her pocket and tossed it in.
でサービスセンターの夜間対応の電話番号は
So, what's the nighttime phone number for the service center? Do you have AAA or Triple J, I guess? It would be
ちょ
here.
っと待って
Oh, just a sec.
車の中に置き忘れちゃったかな
Maybe I left it in my car. Who else but Madoka? Huh? Oh, serious time. We were at a sitcom for a moment, but now we're back to the story. Just then, when Madoka turned toward the parking lot, she dubiously furrowed her eyebrows and looked closer.
何
What is it?
私の車にあれ人
Is that someone by my car? Tomoe turned to get a good look of her own. It was dark since there weren't many lights in the area, but she could still make out three people. One of them was holding something near the keyhole on the driver's side door, carefully working it. Blinkless! Hey, you guys! Just as she screamed and began to charge at them. A new sound effect. What? Yeah! Holy shit! Damn! Adachi doesn't fuck around. What happened to the TV world, Adachi? Jeez. A roar rang out as Madoka's car exploded, and the blast sent the two of them flying like dead weight. And now we're in Devil May Cry. Jeez. Tomoe quickly shielded Madoka as she slammed into the ground and rolled along the asphalt. What? Like, I don't understand why they didn't use all these new sound effects before. Did they save all the sound effects budget for just now? Seriously? Tomoe cautiously raised her head to look around the parking lot, then gasped and froze in shock. The smell of burning gasoline drifted throughout the entire area. Jesus Christ! They dodged a bullet! The hood and windows of Madoka's car were belching thick plumes of smoke, and flames were emanating from the body of the car. What? She couldn't understand. What happened? She couldn't comprehend it at all. But what she did understand was that the car was in flames, and if the two of them had gotten into the car, they wouldn't have been safe. I love James's comment here. He was going to install a chip that caused the car to drive straight into a TV store, but he couldn't get that working. Just then, Tomoe sensed something behind her and turned back. On a slightly distant and dimly lit sidewalk, in the shadow of a nearby building, standing there, was Reina Ryugu. Yeah, right! Yeah, right! There's no fucking way! You! Why? Why are you here? Why are you staring at me with those cold eyes? Those questions swirled around inside Tomoe's head as she stared at the girl's face illuminated by the flames. Then... a chill ran through her entire body. No doubt about it. That girl was the one who drained the gas out of Tomoe's car the other day. And I seriously doubt she did that. I don't think that she's really here because it wouldn't make any fucking sense. That girl did this, although we do know that she's capable of such a thing, so I mean, why would she even be there though? With that in mind, Tomoe reflexively began to stand up and apprehend her. However, oh goddamn, I didn't know it was going to continue. Madoka. Tomoe suddenly came back to her senses and noticed Madoka was waving her arms in a panic. Her face was pale, and her eyes were open wide as she gazed into the fire. Yep, that would make sense that she's scared of the fire. Yeah, that's why, like, I have no idea how Rena would even be there. That's gotta be a hallucination or something. Sis! Fire! No! No! No!
まどか
Madoka!
しっかりしてまどか
Get a hold of yourself, Madoka! Yeah, it makes sense that she would have that kind of reaction to fire. When Tomoe heard footsteps approaching from the outside the quiet hospital room, she rose up from the chase lounge. That moment, Yamaoki came running around the far corner toward Tomoe, drenched in enough sweat that he probably ran the whole way here.
状況はどうかね。
What's the situation?
今鎮静剤を打ってもらって眠ったところです
They just administered a sedative, and she's currently asleep.
怪我も大したことはありませんし大丈夫かと
There are no serious injuries, so she'll probably be okay.
そうか。
I see. Feeling relieved, Yamaoki leaned a hand against the wall and let out a huge sigh, then wiped the sweat from his forehead with his sleeve. Tomoe pulled a handkerchief from her pocket and said, "Here," while holding it out to him.
君は大丈夫なのかね。
Are you doing okay?
平気です
I'm fine.
受け身を取った時にちょっと腰と肘を打ちましたがただの打撲です
I hit my hips and my elbow when I fell, but they're just bruised.
無理がするなよ。
Don't overdo it. Yamaoki grabbed the handkerchief, then took a seat in the chase lounge. Tomoe took a seat next to him.
事故の死傷者は
Were there any casualties of the incident?
二人全身やけどなどで意識不明の重体だ。
Two people are unconscious and in critical condition due to burns sustained across their whole bodies. Yeah, it had to be Adachi because Madoka pointed out exactly which car was hers to Adachi. So yeah, that it had to be Adachi who did that. And jeez. And besides, doesn't that like seem like the kind of thing Adachi would do? Really? That's totally in character for Adachi, so. Two people are unconscious and in critical condition due to burns sustained across their whole bodies.
一人はなんとか命を取り留めたようだが、口と喉を傷つけたようで事情聴取は当分無理だな。
One person seems to have been spared, but their mouth and throat were injured of all fucking things, so it's impossible to ask them anything at the moment.
通行人やその他の人に怪我はありませんでしたか
Were any pedestrians or other people nearby injured?
ああ、不幸中の幸いだった。
Ah, that's one small consolation here.
数台の車が爆風と破砕した部品で損傷したとのことだが、当時駐車場には誰もいなかったようだ。
Several cars were damaged by the blast and shrapnel, but it seems nobody was in the parking lot at the time.
夜でよかった。
It's fortunate that this happened at night.
昼ならこんなものでは済まなかっただろう。
Things would be far worse if this had happened in the daytime. Tomoe swallowed her words and kept silent. But Ji-chan, who knows if it's even safe inside Indachi? I mean, inside Uishi. God damn it, that sound... I just made it worse! No! Tomoe swallowed her words and kept silent. Who knows if it's even safe inside Uishi? I can't do goofy voice. I can't do it. I can't do it. It was certainly true that more pedestrians would have been nearby in the daytime, leading to significantly more victims. However, Madoka probably wouldn't have been as traumatized if it hadn't happened at night. At least then, old wounds wouldn't have resurfaced.
所長、この後予定は？
Chief, do you have any plans after this?
いや、特に。
No, not particularly.
できればまどか君に付き添ってやりたいのだが、構わないだろうか。
I'd like to stay with Madoka-kun if possible. Would that be alright? He was deliberately trying to be considerate of what happened the other day. However, Tomoe didn't even feel like bringing up such a tiresome subject under the current circumstances.
お願いします。
Please do.
私は現場に戻りますので。
I'm gonna return to the crime scene. Now, if this was a Phoenix Wright game, somehow, some way, Madoka would be the one accused of setting the car bomb. I guarantee you.
それでは。
So, please excuse me. After saying that, Tomoe politely bowed then exited the hospital room. She felt like she could hear Yamaoki say something, but she continued walking towards the entrance without slowing down. She didn't want him to see her face right now. After making her way out of the entrance, she took a deep breath as the nighttime breeze cooled her head. And then a car roughly put on the brakes to stop right in front of her. Is it Adachi time? Oh, it's Fujita! Yes, Fujita! Best boy, Fujita! Best console arc boy. Fujita! We have not seen enough of you. And your handsome, handsome, handsome face. Your handsome, handsome married face! God damn it. The person who opened the driver's side door and left out was none other than Fujita!
Minai-san, 大丈夫ですか?
Minai-san, are you alright?
俺、県警からの緊急連絡を聞いて、ここに。
I heard the emergency call from Prefectural HQ and came right away.
ちょうどよかった。
Oh, perfect timing.
藤田君、現場まで乗せていってくれる?
Fujita-kun, can you take me to the crime scene?
え?
Huh?
いや、それより、Minai-sanのお怪我は。
Oh, don't worry about that, Minai-san, but what about your injuries?
私は平気。
I'm the protagonist. You're either unconscious, dead, or perfectly fine. There is no other state. I'm fine.
それより、現場を見ておきたいの。
More importantly, I want to see the crime scene.
多分、これは事故じゃないから。
Because this was probably no accident.
それじゃあ、車が爆発したのは事故じゃなくて、誰かの恋。
You're suggesting it wasn't an accident? Like, don't cars just blow up by themselves all the time? You think someone intended for the car to explode?
そうね。
Yes, exactly.
駐車場に入る前から嫌にガソリンの匂いがきつかったし。
I noticed a particularly strong scent of gasoline, even before entering the parking lot.
それに、今時エンジンを始動せずに車が爆発するなんて。
Thank you, Tomoe.
ありえないわ。
Fujita, I love you, but seriously, come on. Come on! Plus, it's hard to imagine a modern car exploding when the engine isn't even running, you idiot.
それにしても、一体何なんですかね。
Even so, what the hell for?
駐車場の車を爆破するなんて、正気の沙汰じゃありませんよ。
Someone would have to be out of their mind to blow up a car in a parking lot. Someone who's just ridiculously arrogant and likes to throw people into TVs. I don't know why I said that.
全くね。
Absolutely.
テロか愉快犯か知らないけど理解する気にもなれないわ。
I don't know if this is an act of terrorism or just some thrill seeker, but I can't understand it at all. But even if it was that kind of person, right now, Tomoe was ready to explode with rage against the culprit. Her precious little sister Madoka. Tomoe couldn't understand the logic behind it, but she wasn't going to let anyone hurt her. And then... Reina Ryugu's roar of laughter still lingered in her ears. She quickly called an ambulance to come pick up Madoka. But when she looked again, the girl was nowhere to be found. Even though she only dropped her guard for a moment, she still lamented her mistake. How would she even have been there? She tightly clenched her jaw. She still wasn't sure if Reina Ryugu was involved in the case. On the contrary, she seemed to doubt she was directly related. Even so, I swear I'll find this criminal. Tomoe swore that, deep in her heart.
にしても今日は変な車の事故が多すぎですよ。
Still, there have been far too many strange car accidents lately.
大巻では女子学生がトラックにひかれて死んだっていう話ですけど、その子車道に大の字になって寝ていたって話ですからね。
There's another story about a schoolgirl who was struck dead by a truck in Omaki. But they said she was sleeping in the middle of a road with her arms and legs spread out. I wonder where she was icicad to.
一体何を考えていたんだか。
What the hell was she thinking?
Well, maybe she was starring in her own visual novel and that was the prologue. Or rather, light novel, I guess.
大巻
Omaki? After hearing that, Tomoe couldn't help but ask Vegeta to repeat it.
いえ大丈夫です。
God damn it, Nagisa. Really? 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 It was her? Oh, that sucks. Jeez. No, that's alright. Yeah, I gave her this voice because I can't have 3 different people doing the Rena voice in this thing. No, that's alright.
大巻の駅に着いたら母に迎えに来てもらいます。
My mother can pick me up once I arrive at Omaki Station. Omaki was definitely the place where Nagisa said she lived. And a female student died in an accident there? Okay, Ji-chan. I'll see you later. Have a good night. Just then. Contact from Kakuichi Station Transportation Division. We have confirmed the identity of the female student hit by a truck on the highway of Inomaki. Yep. Damn. I did not expect her to randomly die so quickly. Jeez. Her name is Nagisa Ozaki. That is so weird that she would just suddenly do that. Did someone force her to do that, I wonder? She suffered cardiopulmonary arrest due to severe cranial compression. Ooh. I repeat. The voice on the radio was full of static and it was coming from far away, but she could hear it. Nagisa Ozaki. She was hit by a truck and died immediately. Well, at least she didn't suffer. That is so weird.
藤田君、大至急で大巻に向かって。
Fujita-kun, head for Omaki right away. Huh?
早く。
Hurry! That was a long chapter. We'll see how far we can get into the one after this. Is there a tip? Yep, one tip here. Hold on for 1 second, actually. Just start checking where we are time-wise and by a non-spoilery thing. I think this tip might be part 12. Yeah. I can't believe that Nagisa died. Well, she got hit by a truck, so hopefully I'd like to think that she began her own little isekai adventure somewhere in some fantasy world. Maybe a nice one like Bakarina. I gotta say, after all, out of all the isekai series, I think Bakarina is my absolute favorite. Medical examination records. Time, Monday, October 11th, 9:17 p.m. Subject's full name, Tomoe Minai, 28. Address, Kaguichi City, Aichi Prefecture. Occupation, working at Kakuichi Station on behalf of Aichi Prefectural Police Headquarters. Oh, what's going on? This seems to be written by EDA here. Symptoms, fever and coma. XXX in the neck. Description in German. Prescription, antipyretic and nutrients administered. 20cc injection of XXX. Yep. Others. It's suspected of... Yeah, we all know what it is. Symptom level is XX. Yep. Medical records have been faxed to Gogura University Hospital. Requesting follow-up from the doctor in charge. Report required. I wonder which universe that is from, because our Tomoe seems just fine. Yep, that was part 12, so we're going to be starting part 13 today. And, yeah. So yeah, there's just going to be 2 more streams of Tokihogushi. Yep, just 2 more after today. Damn, we are close to the end. That is crazy.
Wait a second, Minai-san!
This is a short one. Tomoe ignored Fujita's repeated attempts to stop her as she climbed out of the car and walked toward the crime scene. I think it did, Void Dweller. I think it did. Sensing that something was off, he stepped in front of her and turned around, trying to block her advance.
What the hell? What the hell are you doing, Minai-san?
Get out of my way. Fujita couldn't help but gasp at that quiet but fiercely wrathful remark. What on earth happened to her? This was truly the first time Fujita had ever seen such a look of rage on Tomoe's face. It had been over 2 months since Section Chief Yamamura assigned me to work with the female detective named Tomoe Minai. Even though they were the same age, he was working as her subordinate, 2 ranks below her. She was smart, but also had a surprisingly childlike side to her. Yep, she does. She was also charming and far more approachable than the usual elite course members, complemented by the serious but attentive look of a class representative. Yep. So, even though she would frequently shout and violently lash out, he would always step in and stop her halfway. Somehow that arrangement worked well. But he couldn't do that now. In fact, he couldn't even get close to her. If her anger before was like taking a blow from a wooden sword, right now she was wielding a real one. There was a viciousness there that suggested he'd be killed if he moved any closer.
Minai-san?
Minai-san?
Then, Tomoe silently walked by Fujita's side as he stood there petrified. After that, two detectives from the 2nd Division who were doing crowd control noticed the two of them and quickly ran to them.
なんですか、南井次長。
Why are you here, Assistant Director Minai?
ここは捜査二課が担当ですよ。
This scene is under the 2nd Investigation Division's control.
今さら来てもうちが仕切ってるんですからね。
He's dipping now. You'll become rather than our authority.
捜査の邪魔をするなら
If you get in the way of our investigation.
どけ。
Out of the way! The two detectives from the 2nd Division who attempted to stop her were overwhelmed by her intense aura and ended up backing out of her way.
Minai-san!
Minai-san!
Still feeling puzzled, Fujita followed behind Tomoe and walked to the crime scene. Forensic investigation was being conducted and evidence photos were being taken throughout the site, while red police lights flashed all around them. And behind the crowd of people tirelessly working was a slightly bulging sheet laying on the ground. When Tomoe began walking in that direction, a hand grabbed her from the side.
姫さん、
Princess!
どうしたんだ？ここはあんたの担当じゃないだろ。
What's going on? You're not supposed to be here.
すみません、早見さん。
Please excuse me, Hayami-san.
すぐ出て行きますので。
I'll be out of here soon.
おい、
Hey!
With that, Tomoe bowed her head to her acquaintance from the mobile investigation team, and then she lifted up the sheet without waiting for an answer. Now you get the right sound effects. Jeez. Until now, she was slowly getting used to seeing corpses. Yeah, after this is going to be a break from Higurashi, James. I'm going to be doing a few one-offs for a while. But until now and until Chaos Head is ready. Until now, she was slowly getting used to seeing some corpses. It takes a change of heart to be able to look on that miserable state of human life. But right now...
姫さん、
Princess!
That fucking sound effect. This is a really sad moment and just like... She clenched her fist so intensely that her nails bit into her palms. A dull sound rang out as she clenched her teeth. Then, sensing the warm, rusty smell emanating from her mouth, Tomoe wiped at her lip. She bit her lip, which I guess is made of rubber. It was a slimy liquid. She was biting down on her lip without thinking, and she bit hard enough to cut into the meat and spout blood.
ありがとうございました、ミナイさん。
Exactly, Void Dweller. Yeah, exactly, apparition is like, seriously. Thank you so much, Minai-san. She had a bright smile on her face when they parted ways. The image still lingered on the back of her eyelids. She was such a cute girl. Ah, dear you. This song. Incredible piece of music. She was a strong girl who wanted to put the past to rest and finally move forward. I don't understand why she would be killed. Did she go to Hinamizawa at all? Like, to get a chance to contract the and yet, never again would she be able to see her face, to have a conversation together.
ミナイさん、知り合いなんですか？
Minai-san, did you know her?
少し前に会って話をしたわ。
I met her just a little while ago, and we talked.
可愛い子だったのよ。とっても。
She was such a cute girl. Trying her hardest to suppress her raging emotions, Tomoe said that and moaned. Is this really the appropriate thing to be thinking at this time, Tomoe? Seriously? Really, really cute. She surely would have become a beautiful woman in the future. She lamented that it wouldn't come to be and regretted it.
だったらあんまり見ない方がいいぞ、姫さん。
It's best not to look too much, Princess.
通報から駆けつけた時にはもうこんな状態だった。
I rushed here as soon as I got the report, but it was already like this.
The mobile investigation team detective, Hayami, put a hand on Tomoe's shoulder as he said that. After taking a deep breath to cool her head, Tomoe folded the sheet down, then held her hands together and closed her eyes.
運転手は
That was a really weird piece of dialogue. It wasn't even dialogue. It was just narration that was her thoughts. That felt really weird. Like, I don't know. It felt like I was reading a parody for a second there. That was such a weird line. Like, jeez. What about the driver?
現場で唖然となっていたよ。
He was found at the site, not a shock.
業務上過失致死の現行犯でついさっき県警に連行した。
The culprit was taken to the Prefectural Police Department's Workplace Negligence Unit.
取り調べは今のところ交通課ではなく本部捜査一課で行われる予定だ。
At the moment, the investigation is being handled by the First Investigation Division at HQ, rather than the Transportation Division.
捜査一課で
First Investigation Division? Hayami nodded. The truck was allegedly driving at normal speed, but the driver only at the last second noticed the shadow of a person on the ground in a shaded area where the streetlights couldn't reach. I don't think you can blame him if all that's true. Then the driver quickly turned the wheel and slammed on the brakes, but couldn't get away.
証言通りブレーキの跡は確かにあった。
The brake markings corroborate that testimony.
今も現場検証中だが 少なくとも人が地面にいると分かった上で故意に引いたとは考えにくい。
On-site investigation is still ongoing, but it's hard to believe that someone would notice a person on the ground and deliberately strike them.
しかも飛び出してきたのならともかく、わざわざ街灯が見えにくい場所を選んで横たわって、いや、置かれていた。
Yeah, I think somebody set her there. Hello, Fawful. Welcome to the stream. Tomoe has fury.
Moreover, the location was chosen because it was far from the streetlights and hard to see whether she deliberately chose to jump into traffic or was set down there.
車道に好き好んで寝転がるやつなどいないことを考えても、事件性が極めて高いと思われる。
Well, why would anyone kill her? I don't get it.
Considering that nobody would ever want to lay down in the road, that probability seems high.
それで一家がわざわざ。
So, is the First Division even going to bother with it?
被害者は女子学生だ。おそらくマスコミが食いつく。
The victim is a schoolgirl, so the media is going to eat it up.
報道対応のことも考慮して、本部で対応した方がいいというのが堂島課長の判断だ。
Considering the potential news coverage, Section Chief Dojima decided it would be best for HQ to handle it.
この遺体もすぐに司法解剖に回すことになっている。
The body is also supposed to be submitted for autopsy immediately.
そうですか。
Is that so?
それよりも姫さん、ここは早く引き上げた方がいい。
More importantly, Princess, you should get out of here right away.
今ここには二課の
This area is under the 2nd Division's authority.
Oh my god, here they are! Okabe Rintaro and Hideo Kojima have come back. Unfortunately, as Hayame whispered that to Tomoe, Section Chief Okabe Rintaro and Hideo Kojima from 2nd Division had arrived.
なんだね君たちは。
What are you doing here?
ここは捜査二課の担当ですよ、Minai次長。
You realize that the 2nd Division is in charge of this location, right, Colonel? I mean, Assistant Director Minai.
After a quick glance at the two of them and their magnanimous demeanor, Tomoe turned away from the sheet and rose to her feet. It was complete. And the sheet that did she eat? Okabe Rintaro stepped between her and Ayami, as if to say they were in the way, and made Hideo Kojima lift the sheet.
見るに大変ありさまだな。
I can't wait to see it.
生前の面影、跡形もなしか。
I wonder if there are still any traces of her living form.
後で写真をお渡しします。その辺で。
And another very odd thing to say. What is up with the writing in this section here?
I'll give you all the photos later, when I'm in the area.
Having said that, Hayami somewhat forcefully began laying the sheet back down. He was concerned about Tomoe.
どうだね、事件性は。
So, what can you tell us about the incident?
遺体の司法解剖が済んだ後で正式に報告します。
An official report will be provided after formal autopsy.
鑑識の見解では、被害者は歴死する直前まで生きていたと思われますので、一家主導で事件捜査を行う予定です。
The forensics team believes the victim was alive up until she was struck, and we are planning to conduct this investigation led by the 1st Division at HQ.
マスコミが喜んで飛びついてきそうな事件だな。
What
Thanks, apparition. You think there's about half an hour left? I think that's just fine. Cause I mean, look at we're only an hour and 15 minutes into the stream, so I think a half hour left would be just perfect.
The media will be happy to jump in on an incident like this.
自殺なら受験勉強の疲れ、失恋からの絶望、殺人なら怨恨暴行といったところか。
If it's a suicide, they'll say she was overworked studying for exams, or felt a despair from her broken heart. If it's murder, they'll peg it as sexual assault.
後始末をするこちらの身にもなってもらいたいものだ。
It is faux leather. The chair. Ah, jeez. It's a couch, but yeah.
I'd love to be the person who have to clean this up.
Tomoe did everything to resist the urge to shout at him and tell him to keep his mouth shut if he doesn't know the circumstances.
とりあえず捜査一課が出張ってくるのなら我々の出る幕はないな。
Anyway, as long as the First Division leaves, there's no reason for us to take action.
あとは地域課に任せて我々は引き上げてもいいかね。
After that, we can leave it to the Community Affairs Division. It'll be out of our hands.
どうぞお疲れ様です。
Please do. Thank you for your assistance.
そんなわけだから見ない次長、君たちも引き上げたまえ。
With that in mind, Assistant Director Minai, you should all be on your way.
手柄を横取りするつもりだったかもしれんが、当てが外れたな。
If you came here expecting to steal our thunder, you were mistaken.
Tomoe wasn't interested in playing along with Okabe's sarcastic banter, so she pretended not to hear it and turned to Hayami.
速水さん、後で検視結果を聞かせてください。
Hayami-san, please let me know the autopsy results.
それと念のために運転手の聴取内容もお伺いできますでしょうか。
And just in case, could I get a transcript of what the driver said?
ああ、わかった。
Sure, got it.
それとこの周辺の遺留物もできれば。
And if possible, anything left in this area.
ああ、それは私たちを通して県警に依頼してもらいたいものですね。
Colonel, if you would like anything else, you'll have to ask prefectural police through us.
この山は二課の担当なんですから、規則を遵守していただかなくては困ります。
This incident is under the authority of the 2nd Division of the Lali-Lule Lo, so it could prove troublesome if you don't follow popular regulations.
Kojima stepped between Tomoe and Hayami as he said that. It was obvious to everyone that he was just saying that to earn points with Okabe. But Tomoe concealed her emotions and responded, of course, while nodding.
この件の情報提供については明日所長の決裁を得た上で依頼をさせていただきます。
We'll submit a formal request tomorrow after getting consent from the chief.
お手数ですがご対応よろしくお願いします。
Sorry for the trouble, and thank you for your support.
なるほど、虎の意を狩るですか。
I see. Foxhound is borrowing the tiger's authority.
そこまで手柄を立てたいんですかね。
You're willing to go that far?
Tomoe silently asked herself, which of us is in Foxhound here? But responded with a wry smile as though she didn't care. However, Hideo Kojima kept going and off on wacky tangents about psychic powers, seemingly spurred by the threat of incurring her boss's anger.
さすが所長に妹を差し出して関心を買っただけのことはありますな。
Naturally. All you had to do to buy the chief's favor is to give him your Metal Gear little sister.
使えるものは親でも使う。いやいや、幹部候補生ともなれば考え方が違う。
Use everything at your disposal. Even your family and the basics of CQC. Oh my. Executive candidates have a completely different way of looking at things.
だと
What's that?
妹は玉の腰に乗せて自分もまたその恩恵に預かる。
Have your sister marry into power and reap the rewards yourself.
遠望診療というか、なかなかできることじゃありません。
That's not an easy thing to accomplish, Major. You got some profound foresight. I wonder how many soldier genes you have.
まあもっともそうでもしなければ、女性の立場でそれだけの地位を得ることは難しいものですからな。
After all, it'll be extremely difficult for a woman to get into your position otherwise.
Normally, she would have cursed him in her heart and paid that comment no heed. What's that about you haven't encountered any sexism in the workplace? Tomoe? As a member of society, she intended to have the minimum level of patience and common sense expected of an adult. But today, right at this very moment... Up.
はい。
うるせえって言ってんだよ。
I said shut up!
言ってて恥ずかしくないのか、ゲス野郎が。
Are you not ashamed of what you're saying, you shithead?
自分の能力棚に上げて喧嘩売るってんならいつでも勝ってやんぞ。
If you're blind to your own weakness and looking to pick a fight, I'm ready to fight back at any moment! Well... Don't do this! Minai-san! After she closed the distance between them and spoke up with a totally different tone, Kojima couldn't help but fall silent. If Vegeta hadn't grabbed her arm so quickly, she might have taken it a step further. There were rumors going around behind the scenes ever since she came to Kakuichi Station. But since the rumors were completely ungrounded, Tomoe paid them no heed. However, if someone were to make flippant remarks right in front of her, rather than acting like a considerate, sensible adult, what could you expect?
Minai 次長、口を慎みたまえ。
Yes, Void Dweller. It was at this moment Kojima knew that he fucked up. Hi, jeez.
Watch your tongue, Assistant Director Minai!
年上に対してその発言は聞き捨てならんぞ。
You mustn't speak that way to your elders!
じゃあ今の小島補佐の発言は何だって言うんですか。
So, Deputy Section Chief Hideo Kojima, what are you trying to say?
明らかに未来さんへの侮辱です。訂正してください。
You've clearly insulted Minai-san, so set things right!
そういう見方もあるということだ。
He's saying that point of view is valid.
まあそれにしても君もとんだ猫かぶりだな。
Anyway, even you can't feign ignorance of that.
妹が妹なら姉も姉。素性と血は争えんということか。
Sisters will be sisters after all. There's no disputing you have the same blood and lineage.
God damn. Okabe Rintaro, when did you turn into such an asshole? Oh, yeah! Woo! That line reached the end of Tomoe's patience. She was completely broken.
もう一度言ってみろ。
One more time. Try saying that one more time! Come on!
言っていいことの区別もつかねえのか、このクソじじい。
Do you even know what you're saying, you senile old man?
待ってください、未来さん。
Hold on, Minai-san!
やめてください。頼みますから。
Stop this! I'm begging you!
話せ、藤田。
Let me go, Fujita!
こいつは。
Bastard! That bastard! She couldn't remember well what happened after that. But in the end, they were thrown out of the crime scene by nearby investigators. The one thing she didn't forget was the pain of Hayami hitting her and shouting, "Calm down." So, a 1-week suspension for Miss Tomoe. I believe that workplace sexism doesn't exist because I've never personally experienced it. Minai, eh? Jeez. Huh. Wasn't it foolish of you to keep going like that? Oh, shut up. Tomoe vented her irritation at Madoka, who was sitting in bed, while she continued peeling the apple that she had brought from Madoka. Madoka couldn't help but sigh while gazing at the dexterity of her handiwork. But your suspension will be over before you know it! A detective punching a superior officer right in the view of the public. That definitely deserves a suspension. It was a slap, not a punch. That doesn't make a difference. It's assault either way, puppy. You're a police officer, not a soldier. You understand that, right, sis? When her sister so bluntly pointed that out, Tomoe was completely at a loss for words. Indeed, even in situations where the blood rushes to your head, resorting to violence is the lowest active members of society can stoop to. But secretly, Madoka was a little happy about it. I knew she would be. I would be. I would totally be happy about it. I'm glad that she did it. They deserved it. So, did you apologize properly? To Section Chief Okabe. Yeah. I thought he was going to say something offensive, but he just said to be careful in the future. I wonder if he's planning something with all that Game of Thrones bullshit going down at the police station. Maybe he was just afraid? If he said something careless and upset you again, it might just start another act of violence theater starring Tomoe Minai. Excuse you? I don't fly off the handle for no reason like that. Okay, sis. You are definitely not convincing me of that. Realizing that there was nothing she could say to win this argument, Tomoe suddenly cut off her protest. Then she sliced the peeled apple into pieces, cut out the core, neatly set them on a plate, and insert toothpicks into each before lightly holding the plate out to Madoka. Huh? You're not gonna feed them to me? You've got 2 arms, don't you? Come on, I'm seriously ill. No seriously ill patient has ever looked, sounded, and eaten all that energetically. If you don't want them, I'll eat them all myself, okay? Whatever, I'll eat half. As she said that, Madoka put the small plate, took the small plate, grabbed one by the toothpick, and shoved it into her mouth. The strong sweet and sour and the moderately soft texture of the fruit mixed together to be very delicious. I think there's a comma missing here. Oh my god, the juicy texture is really tasty! Did you get these from that guy at the market in front of the hospital? It is for $1. It is it's 1982. Yeah. The shop beneath the department store, right in front of the station. They taste so good because they were really expensive, so eat up. Ah, got it. I'll owe you one. Are you alright now? Yeah, sorry. Probably about the fire on the gas stove these days, but so I was just taken a little off guard. It's been a long time since I've gotten this way, so even I was surprised. Tomoe picked up another apple and cut it into 8 half-moon-shaped pieces. This one was unpeeled and intended to share with Madoka. Fawful, I am like 99% sure it's Adachi. And like, I don't think it's that big of a surprise. Unless it's not. But to have voices off, I'll think about it. I'll think about it because that tip, we're probably going to start that tip next time. Yeah, we're going to do that tip next time, so don't worry about that, Fawful. Sis, I've always been making trouble for you. Even I think I need to get better soon. There is no need to say that. The doctor said even if you recover quickly, you shouldn't go back to work just yet. Besides, I've never even once thought that you were a burden. Still, I'm avoiding the people around me like this. Sis, you know about the circumstances, so you're okay. But what about Kaoru-san? What about him? Have you not talked to him? I've been planning to talk to him about it, but even today I still haven't gotten around to it. Unbelievable. This time it was Tomoe's turn to heave a sigh. Her tendency to act immediately without thinking made things difficult at times like this. And Tomoe couldn't speak on behalf of others. Now, I'm not saying all this is because of some boyfriend that was dating before, but
うまくいかなかったんだよね。
In the end, things didn't go so well.
見慣れない人にはちょっと引いちゃう感じらしくてさ。
I have a tendency to pull away from people I don't know well.
飲食店のバイトも厨房の火のせいであんまり長く続かなかった。
My part-time job at the restaurant didn't last long, thanks to a fire in the kitchen.
ライターとかならなんとか平気なんだけどね。
I'm okay around the lightest though.
窓か。
Madoka. She understood now. The reason she insisted on working out at that cabaret club. If she couldn't cheer herself up with alcohol, she wouldn't have been able to work.
ここに入院したのだって表向きは頭打ったってことにしてるし。
When I was admitted to this hospital, the official records said I took a blow to the head.
今さら言ったらなんて反応するかな。
If I told him no, how would he react?
ひどいことを言う人じゃないことは分かってるんだけど。
I know he's not the kind of person to say cruel things, but still. Seeing the deeply troubled look on Madoka's face made Tomoe's chest ache. Even after all this, her little sister was earnestly thinking about Yamaoki. That was a gut puncher. Jeez. She is really, truly traumatized by that fire. She still didn't know what Yamaoki's intentions were, but even so.
大丈夫よ。
It's alright.
あの人ならちゃんと受け止めてくれるって。
That man will be able to properly accept it.
そうかな。
You think so?
そうよ。
I do. She put some more apples she finished coring on a small plate and bit into one while smiling to try to encourage her sister.
他人のそういうところを面倒に思う人だったら、これまでだって父さんのことで協力してくれたりしないって。
If he wasn't the kind of person who cared about other people's problems, he never would have been able to get along with Dad as much as he did.
だからちゃんと相談してこれからのことを話し合いなさい。
So please, talk to him properly in the future.
私が健在なら全然 OK だけど、いつまでもそうとは限らないでしょ。
You'll be fine as long as I'm in good health, but that's not always going to be the case, you know?
なんだそりゃ。
What is this?
不吉なこと言わないでよ。
Don't say something so ominous.
でもひょっとしたら万が一、いや億が一にもあの野郎と結婚生活でも送ることを考えたら、さっさとバラした方が気が楽よ。
But in the 1 in 10,000, no, 1 in 100 million chance that does happen, I think I'd have an easier time enduring it if you were married to that man.
あんただってそれくらいのことは分かってんでしょ。
You'd understand that much, right? Yeah. Madoka nodded her head. She understood all that, but she just wanted to hear her sister say it. Because it felt like she was just making excuses.
ああ、なんか話したらすっきりしちゃった。
Talking about this has made me feel better.
やっぱ持つべきものは物分かりのいいお姉様だね。
After all, I'm just such a compassionate and understanding elder sister.
調子のいいこと言ってんじゃない。
Hello, Golden Novel. I don't think I've seen you before. Welcome to the streams. I'm not just saying nice things.
それに交際は認めても結婚なんてよっぽど頑張らないとうなずいてなんかやんないからね。
Plus, even if you both agree to get married, it won't work out unless you give it your all.
うわ、まだ言ってますよこの人は。
Whoa! You're still saying... Just then, there's the gun, which could be 10,000 different things. Probably the door opening, even though it's a gun sound effect. Huh? Huh? They heard the clatter of the knob turning, and then a man dressed in a hospital gown emerged. Uh-oh. Is it an assassin? His face didn't look familiar, and more importantly, there was no reason for another hospital patient to enter Madoka's private room. So what was the deal with this guy?
誰？
Who are you?
あ、いや、その
Oh my god, Golden Novel, thank you for the sub. Who is this? Uh-oh,
何の用なの？
do you need something? Tomoe quickly rose to her feet and stood in front of Madoka to cover her, while reaching her hand into her jacket with a grimace on her face. Since she was on suspension, she wasn't carrying her usual baton. Still, at this distance with one adversary, she could handle the situation if she closed the gap.
えっと、
Is this like a girl trying to do a guy voice or something? Who is this? Oh, He suddenly donned a confused and upset expression when faced with that forceful question. Then, as if he had realized something, he took a step out of the room and took a look at the room tag.
すみません、間違えました。
I'm sorry. I was mistaken. Oh, what a gag! Huh. As soon as he tossed those words out, his face turned red and he slammed on the door. Then footsteps could be heard running down the hallway.
何あれ？
What was that?
多分ただの部屋間違いでしょ。
Oh, it looks like he wasn't, or she. I have no idea. Oh, he was probably just mistaken about which room this is.
カオルさんも一度ミスりかけたし。
Kaoru-san made the same mistake once before. Huh? Madoka lightly giggled while staring at her sister's back. Tomoe was still standing in front of her trying to protect her. Then Madoka poked her. According to Madoka, all hospital rooms in the building from the 3rd to 8th floor had the exact same layout. That makes sense. Not only that, but there wasn't much variety in the furniture in the rooms or the view out the windows. So if you weren't used to it, you could easily mistake which floor you're on after exiting the elevator. I wonder if that has to do with the quote-unquote suicide/murder that happened in the very beginning of the story. Apparently Yamaoki came to visit earlier and mistakenly barged into another room on a lower floor without even knocking.
ああ、そういえば。
Now that you mention it, yeah. Indeed. After bringing it up, Tomoe also noticed the same thing earlier when she went to the nurse's station to borrow a fruit knife. Unfortunately, all of them were loaned out, but the nurse said she could get another if she tried going 2 floors downstairs. But Tomoe did momentarily worry she was on the wrong floor, since it had the exact same layout. See, now normally what they do in buildings like this is they paint the floor number on the wall. Like they paint it in a big number, easy to see, right outside the elevators. And like generally by stairways and such. I don't know why they wouldn't do that here, like have the floor number at places, or have the room numbers follow the, like shouldn't the room numbers start with the number of the floor? Jeez. But Tomoe did momentarily worry she was on the wrong floor, since it had the exact same layout. Well, that seemed to be a relatively normal situation for general hospitals, with a large number of patient rooms. But when Tomoe thought about it a little longer, something felt off.
それにしても入院患者が迷うってのはよっぽどなのね。
Anyway, I'm sure a lot of hospital patients get lost.
こんなことなら部屋に鍵でもないと不安よ。
In which case, it bothers me that these rooms don't have locks. Really? That's kind of a shocker.
大丈夫だって。
It's alright. I don't think that's alright when somebody literally just tried to kill you.
さっきの患者さん、なんか眠たそうだったから、うっかりしてただけだよ。
That patient Oilia was totally not in a CS and just made a careless mistake because he was tired.
お姉ちゃん
Says? Suddenly, Tomoe completely froze in place, with her hand still hovering in the air, reaching for the last apple piece. And the next moment she rose to her feet, as though she had realized something, then began getting out of the hospital room without even noticing that the chair had fallen down behind her.
ちょっとどうしたの？
What's wrong?
お姉ちゃんってば。
Says?
あ、すみません。
Excuse me.
柿内署の見ないと申しますが、一課長の本庄さんをお願いします。
My name is Minai from Higurashi Station. I would like to speak with 1st Section Division Section Chief, Honjo-san. This seems like a spot to take a break. But let me see how much time we have left in the stream. Oh. Apparition. How much do we have left roughly right now? Oh, 15 minutes? Yeah, okay, we can do it then. Perfect timing then, yeah. Yeah, it's a little less than 10 minutes on, Lambda Delta. Yeah, okay. The timetable listing her destination pattered as she put it away. And at last, the flight she planned to board displayed a now commencing boarding status.
さて。
Who the fuck are you? Seriously. We got a lot of new people today, I see. Hiranuma. Now then. After drinking the rest of the wine in her paper cup, she slowly stood up and grabbed a bag from the seat next to her. She already checked her suitcase and larger luggage, so her personal belongings were relatively light. Huh. She sounds very arrogant. She faintly laughed at the crowd of passengers lined up at the boarding gate. I'm gonna give her a Beatrice voice because, I don't know, she just sounds like she's like very pompous and like, you know, overbearing. She faintly laughed at the crowd of passengers lined up at the boarding gate. Their seats were the poor, cramped economy seats. The services and accommodations were completely different from the first class seat she would be sitting in. Such a pity, sitting with your shoulders shrunk together and having to endure it for a multiple hour-long flight. She muttered that to herself while throwing the paper cup in a nearby trash can, then turned to face the completely empty first-class gate. Right then,
Whoa, fishing in Macau, eh? Vacationing. Sounds lovely.
okay, yeah, I'm gonna give him definitely the Hideyoshi voice. Looking back toward the voice that suddenly called out to her from behind, she found an elderly man in a thick coat, approaching her with a pleasant smile on his face. At a quick glance, he was styled like a worn-down business manager. However, she understood well what his occupation was, since they had met once before.
あなたは
You.
お久しぶりです。
Long time no see!
茨城県警捜査一課の本庄です。
It's Hanjo, on the First Investigation Division of the Ibaraki Prefectural Police Department.
Yeah, I think that's a good... I remember she did talk to him before. She did talk to Hanjo, but this girl is new. The lady he's talking to is new. Yeah, Hideyoshi works for Hanjo. Yeah. The man who dressed himself as Hanjo pulled a black notebook out of his jacket pocket and held it up to her. The moment she saw it, a chill ran through Yoko Hiranuma's body as every ounce of blood froze over. Who the fuck is this exactly?
搭乗手続きまだ混んでるみてえだべ。
The check-in area still looks pretty crowded.
それまでちっとお話聞いてもらえませんか。
Do you mind having a small chat until it clears up?
何でしょうか
About what?
いやー、大したことじゃねえんだべ。
Well, it's nothing major.
あなたにずっと確かめておきたかったことがあったんですが、今まで忘れててや。
There was something that's been on my mind for a long time, but I forgot about it until right this moment.
何をですか
And what would that be?
いや、前にお伺いした話の繰り返しです。
This may be a repeat of our earlier conversation.
あなた、沢村浩平君の発見の時、最初に警察に連絡して、それから担当医の先生を呼び出したでしたっけ？
Oh, okay. Damn, what a conspiracy. Why was he murdered, though? Like, what? For what reason? Jeez. I bet it was because of the drug. It must have had something to do with the drug that they gave him. The drug is probably failing or something. It's a massive conspiracy with that, I bet.
When Kohei Saramura-kun was discovered, you contacted the police, and then the doctor in charge. Isn't that right?
そうですが
Yes, that's right.
間違いないべ。
You're not mistaken about that.
だからそうです
Indeed, that's right. There was a hint of irritation in Hiranuma's voice as she repeated that response. What on earth was this man hoping to hear?
大体それが何か
Is there something particular on your mind?
いやね、なんだかおかしくねえっすか。
Well, isn't something odd?
なんで8階から見下ろしただけで沢村君が転落したって分かったんです？
She was the nurse. Okay, I see. Was she named before? I don't think... Did she have a name tag before? I thought she was just called the nurse before. I completely forgot. Okay. So, yeah, this is the nurse.
Why'd you look down from the 8th floor? As if you knew Samura-kun had fallen to his death.
は
Huh?
そんなの当然じゃないですか
Isn't that perfectly natural?
窓が開いててさっきまで病室にいた人が外の地面に横たわっていたら普通そう考えるのが自然でしょ
The window was open, and the person who was in the hospital room earlier was laying on the ground outside. Isn't it normal to think so?
ねえ、確かにその通
Yes, exactly.
り。でもね、ちょっと腑に落ちないんですよ。
But there's something that doesn't quite make sense.
だったらなんで彼を助けることを第一に考えなかったのかってね。
If that was the case, Why wasn't your voice thought to consider helping him?
Huh? The smile on Hanjo's face vanished as he stared at Hiranuma with a piercing glare. That was when she noticed other men dressed in suits, like detectives, were standing to block the exits.
8階からの転落。
A fall from the 8th floor.
I see. Damn. Tomoe's mentor does not fuck around. It looks like he caught the culprit.
A fall from the 8th floor.
常識で考えれば即死してもおかしくねえ高さだ。
If you think about it logically, it's high enough to cause instant death.
ですがね、普通の医療現場の人ならたとえ 1% でも助かる可能性に欠けるはずです。
But for professionals in the medical field, normally they'd rush to save someone, even if there was only a 1% chance of success.
だとしたら最初に連絡を取るのは救急で。
In which case, shouldn't your voice step have been to call an ambulance?
警察に連絡するのは死亡が確認されてから。
But you confirmed he was dead when you contacted the police.
担当医なんて一番後です。
And the doctor in charge was the last person you contacted.
違いますか？
Or am I mistaken?
それはあの時は私も動転していて。
That's because I was frightened and shaken up at the time.
それから沢村君の部屋が密室で鍵がかかってたって話ですが。
And then there's the story that Sawamura-kun's room was a closed room, since the door was locked.
確かにあなたの言う通り、防犯カメラには最後にあなたが彼の部屋を訪れてからずっと誰も彼の部屋さ入ってなかった。
Indeed, the camera showed that nobody entered his room after you, just as you said.
だから彼が鍵をかけて部屋から誤って落っこちたが自殺したって話になってっぺ。
So we locked the door before accidentally falling into the room. But then you said he committed suicide.
しかしね、あそこの鍵はかけてから閉めるようになってます。
But the door could have been locked after it was closed.
ってことは密室殺人の条件は崩れるんです。
In which case, the condition for the closed room falls apart.
部屋を出てった犯人が鍵を閉めることができるってことですから。
It's possible that the perpetrator locked the door after leaving the room using the key.
つまり逆に言えばこうです。
Or, to put it another way,
誰かに自殺を装って殺されたのだとしたら、 一番怪しいのは最後に彼と会ったあなた。
the most suspicious individual is the last person to meet him. You.
何ですかそれは。
What is this? Hiranuma shouted in rage and dropped her carry-on bag to the floor. The clasp came undone, and the bag split open, spilling some cosmetics and small articles to the floor. I think it's because he was locked in the room, not out of the room.
それじゃ私が彼を窓から突き落としたとでも言うんですか。
Then, you're suggesting I threw him out the window.
無茶を言わないでください。彼と私
Oh,
じゃ
God
体
damn
格
it.
差がまるで違
Wrong
うんです
person.
よ。
The two H's. Then, you're suggesting I threw him out the window? Don't be absurd. You're aware of the difference between our body types, right?
どうやって自分以上の背格好の人を窓まで連れて雨津さえ落とすことができるって言うんですか。
How can you suggest that I brought someone taller than myself to that window, much less threw him out of it?
逆に抵抗されて私が落とされるだけです。
If it came to that, the situation would be reversed. I would have been the one thrown out.
まあ普通に考えればそうです。
Well, normally you'd think so.
ただこうも考えられなかった。
What if you think about it like this?
彼が自ら窓に近づいて窓の縁のところに上がったと。
He approached the window on his own and climbed to the ledge.
そうすればあなたは軽く突き飛ばすだけで彼は転落する。
If that were the case, you'd be able to throw him off with just a light push.
それこそ意味がわかりません。
I don't understand the meaning of that!
なぜ彼がそんな危険な真似を自分からするんですか？
Why would he put himself in such a dangerous situation?
そりゃ簡単です。
Oh, that's simple.
危険だと思わなかったからだべ。
It's because he didn't think it was dangerous.
Hiranuma caught her breath. He knew. This man knew all her machinations. Why would she do
沢村
this?
君は発見前、検温を済ませて眠ってたって言ってました。
You said that before Samura-kun was discovered. He had his temperature taken and then went to sleep.
そんで第一発見者の尾崎渚さんが見舞いさ来るまでの間に警報器の誤作動があった。
Then there was a malfunction with the alarm just before the first to discover the body. Nagisa Ozaki came to visit him.
すぐに看護師さんたちが各部屋に回って患者さんたちに説明していたそうですが、
Shortly thereafter, the nurses visited every patient's room to explain the situation.
あなたは沢村君には違うこと言った。
Now you told Samura-kun something else.
例えば、火事を逃げなさいと。
Something like, "There's a fire, get out of here."
そしてあなたは窓の方を指さす。
And then, you pointed toward the window.
それを聞いた沢村君は寝起きで意識が混濁していたために自分の部屋が1階だと勘違いした。
When Samura-kun heard that, he was confused from just waking up and thought he was still in his room on the first floor.
もともと彼の部屋は8階に移る1週間前までは1階でしたからね。
His room was originally on the first floor, and he had only moved to the 8th floor a week ago.
しかも以前に窓から逃げたことがあるためさ、外さ出るさは廊下よりも窓の方が早いと思い込んだ。
And not only that, but his old room was physically located somewhere that escaping through the window would have been faster than running down the hallway.
そんであっぱとっぱしながら窓に近づいて縁に足をかけたところでようやくここが8階であったことに気づく。
So, as he hastily approached the window and climbed to the ledge, he was surprised to notice he was actually on the 8th floor.
そんで落っこちめえと両手でサッシを掴んだが、その後ろからあなたが突き飛ばし、支えきれずさそのまま落下した。
But when you approached him from behind and pushed, he didn't have the means to support himself, so he fell.
Why would she do this?
証拠はあるのですか？
Is there any evidence of this?
これわかりますか？
Here, do you know what these are?
サッシについた沢村君の爪の跡です。
They're markings from Samura-kun's fingernail on the window frame.
普通高層階から飛び降りようと考えるときは左右か下のみに指紋と爪痕がつくもの。
Normally, when someone is considering jumping from a high place, the fingerprints and nail marks just appear on the bottom, rather than the left and right sides.
ところが彼の場合、右と下に爪痕がある。
But in this case, there were nail markings on the right side and the bottom.
Missing an S here.
しかも右には抵抗した際に爪を剥がしたのが血痕も発見された。
Moreover, he clenched so strongly on the right side that it peeled his nails off, leaving them bloody stains behind.
そんなので判定なんて。
That's what led you to this conclusion?
あとね、彼の爪の間に彼以外の血液型の皮膚片がありましてね。
Here's the coup de grace.
Also, we found traces of blood and skin from another poison beneath his nails.
その血液型は RH- の A 型。
The blood type was A-.
そしてあなたも確か。
And sure enough, that's your type too! So what do you have to say for yourself? Noise Hiranuma!
Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And then she's going like, "Wah!" Like I imagine that, like, you know, this fright sound when they like get all flustered. I imagine her nurse hat gets all disheveled, and then she'll go in like a freaking demon mode where imagine if she had like one of those nurses hats with a red cross, then it would flip when she's getting all flustered and turn upside down into like a satanic cross, and she would be all rah, like, "How dare you find my plan," or something like that.
その手袋を取ってもらえませんか?
Would you mind taking off those gloves?
And like before he would say that, he's like, "You don't have any evidence! Prove that I did it! There's no direct proof of anything!" And then the judge would say,
Oh, well, I suppose, you know, that's true. There is no direct proof that she was the one who pushed him out the window, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to reject everything you've just said and declare this case guilty for the defendant.
and then, you know, Hanjo would say,
Oh, that's no good. There's one last piece of evidence. I know there's one way I can shut this argument down for good and close this case.
and then you flip through the menu, and then you go to the evidence marked blood underneath the fingernails. And there. Break! And then, you know, that breaks her.
Would you mind taking off these
あな
gloves?
たの手のどちら側に沢村君と争った時にできた傷跡があるはずです。
One of your hands should have a scar from your fight with Saramura-kun.
Here we go! Yeah.
県警までご同行願います。
Please come with me to the prefectural police headquarters.
Hiranuma hung her head, then suddenly collapsed on the spot. Here we go, the breakdown. After seeing that, Hanjo silently nodded to detectives behind her. On that signal, they moved around to both sides of her. Here we go. Why did she do it? However, yep, breakdown time. Kind of a bit of both for you, Dweller. Suddenly, Hiranuma sneered and began laughing in his low, creepy voice. Then she looked up with her eyes open wide while still cackling. Yep, what did I say? It's Phoenix Wright. This is her true demon form.
What is this?
Saki! Honda!
Higasaki! Honda!
被疑者確保、取り押さえ
Restrain the suspect!
ろ。両手を自由にさせるな。
To let either of her hands free!
Hiranuma shook her hair about and cried out a strange voice while picking up the fruit knife that had fallen off out of her carry-on bag. They would not let you carry something like that on the plane nowadays. Then she swung it all in all directions in an effort to intimidate the detectives. Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? And then, noticing the gap between the detectives she managed to open with her blade, she ran towards the back window in an effort to escape. Then... Oh my god, she committed suicide over that? What the fuck is going on? Shit, my god. Holy schnapps. She plunged the knife into her own throat and stabbed it in over and over again. I wonder if she also killed the girl. I bet she's a flunky of Adachi, and I bet Adachi is with, having to do with Tokyo, yeah. The dull gurgling sound of an overflowing viscous liquid rang out, while a stream of bright red blood fell down to the floor. Out of nowhere, a grief-stricken stream came out, strong enough to tear through silk. The surrounding detectives all froze in horror. Even Hanjo felt the urge to vomit at the miserable sight.
Whoa!
本田、救急隊に連絡。
Honda! Call an ambulance!
蘇生器具とレスキューキット持ってください。
Tell her to bring resuscitation tools and a rescue kit!
Jesus Christ. That was insane. Suicide.
それで被疑者はどうなりました？
So what became of the suspect?
I'm sorry, she totally went insane.
応急で救命措置を施して病院へ運び込んだがダメだった。
Emergency voiced aid was administered, and she was transported to a hospital. But it was all for nothing.
Tomoe was so shocked, she was at a loss for words after hearing that from Hanjo over the phone. Losing control and turning to suicide was a completely unthinkable scenario. Oh my god, that's right, Void Dweller. I haven't thought about DDLC in a while. That was totally something Yuri from DDLC would do. Hanjo and the others probably felt the same way. But the men froze when they witnessed Hiranuma's strange, or rather, completely baffling transformation. Shrieking in a weird voice and going mad with laughter, before finally piercing her throat with a knife and dying. Nobody in decent mental health would ever turn to that means, even if they intended self-harm. Was it a spasm induced by some illness, or she had her wits' end after being cornered and acting in a panic? Tomoe couldn't say.
平沼陽子が何かの薬物を服用していたという話はあったのですか？
Have you heard if Yoko Hiranuma was taking any sort of medication?
いや少なくとも現時点ではね。
No, at least not at the moment.
勤務態度も普通で同僚や知人オラが近隣の住人の誰に聞いても信じられない一点張りだ。
Her colleagues, associates, and acquaintances and neighbors said she had a normal working attitude. When asked about it, all they could say was, I couldn't believe it.
意図的にかばってるようには見えねえな。
I can't see this as anything deliberate.
It almost seems like somebody like activated like a remote switch for Hinamizawa syndrome. like she was terminated or something. As like when she was caught, like Adachi might have like flipped a switch to inject her with the weaponized version of Hinamizawa syndrome.
なのになんでそんな最後
But why turn to that in the end?
I don't know. Honestly, I have absolutely no idea.
平沼陽子がなぜ沢村浩平を殺したってどうにもわかんねえ。
I don't understand Yokihiro Noma's motive for killing Kohei Sawamura either.
それに巴ちゃんが言っていた尾崎渚の殺人事件に彼女が関与していたが全部闇の中だ。
And that she was somehow involved with the Nagisa Ozaki and murder case you were investigating? Now everything is in the dark.
家宅捜索を行ってもそれらしき証拠物件は何にもなかった。
Even after searching a house, we didn't find any evidence.
完全に八方塞がりだべ。
We're completely cut off in all directions.
Oh wait, what did she say? Like she drank something. She drank wine. She was drinking wine, right? Maybe it was in her wine, cause she was drinking a paper cup of wine. That's probably it. That's probably it. It was probably put in the wine she was drinking.
We're completely cut off in all directions.
本庄さん
Honjo-san. It was a rare occasion for Honjo to speak as though he had given up. He always tried to search for a breakthrough that could lead to a new theory. In other words, this was the kind of incident where the culprit could never be found.
私の方でもいくつか探ってみます
I'll do what I can on my end to keep searching.
また何かありましたら連絡をいただけますか
Can you contact me if anything else turns up?
巴ちゃん。
Tomoe-chan.
はい
Yes.
これはオーラの勘だが
This is just a hunch, but
この事件の裏お前さんが思う以上に深いぞ。
the truth behind this incident is deeper than you originally thought.
分かってます
I understand that.
安易に言うな。
Don't say that so easily!
それが分かってねえって言うんだ。
This isn't something you can understand.
Honjo said that in response to Tomoe's almost reflexive answer.
男子学生が殺され、その犯人が自殺。
A male student was murdered, and the culprit committed suicide.
それだけならただの凶楽殺人か猟奇殺人だ。
If that's the case, it could simply be a case of committing murder for personal enjoyment. That's to say, curiosity.
だけど、今までそんな思考も異常も見られなかった人間が突然表現して人を襲い、そんで自分もぶっ壊す。
But a person who exhibited no such abnormalities until now suddenly changed in it and attacked another person, then herself.
そっただ事件、今まで存在していたが、
Has there ever been an incident like this before?
いえ欧米の事件記録にもそんな事例はありません
No. There are no cases like this, even among Western case records. Criminals who kill to sate curiosity always have some sort of preference or an established environment that led them to that thought. There is no chance of a person turning to aberrant behavior without that.
気ぃつけろよ、とまいちゃん。
Be careful, Tomoe-chan.
これはお前さん一人が片手までなんとかなるような代物じゃねえ。
This isn't the kind of thing you should handle on your own in spare time.
その辺をよく考えてな。
Always be cognizant of your surroundings.
はい
Right.
肝に銘じます
I'll keep that in the back of my mind. Always. Then, Tomoe hung up the phone.
一人で片手間では
Shouldn't handle on my own. Huh. That was certainly true. but two children that she knew had already fallen victim. Could she dismiss it as something blocked on all sides, just as he said?
そうだ。
That's right. There was another incident where a person not showing any abnormality suddenly changed and attacked a person. Even though she had convinced herself there was no such thing just a moment ago. But isn't the Reign of Hyuga case a perfect example of that?
だとしたら、やっぱりあの子は。
If that's the case, then that girl... There was a possibility. That Reign of Hyuga had some connection to this series of incidents. In which case, if she investigated the girl's background a little more thoroughly, surely... Just then, the phone directly in front of her began to ring. Though she was confused for a moment by the sudden interruption, Tomoe quickly switched back to normal and picked up the receiver.
はい、もしもし。
Yes, hello.
南次長、山沖所長がお呼びです。
Assistant Director Minai. Chief Yamoki is calling for you.
所長室へお越しください。
Please come to the chief's office.
所長が？
The chief? Having received a call from the General Affairs Office, likely needing her to act as Madoka's representative in her absence, Tomoe got up and rose to her feet. Here we go. Okay. And there we go. Well, that was a doozy of a chapter. I'm sorry that took a bit longer than I thought it would. A drink at your deathbed. Yep. Okay, well, so we'll do that tip when we get back. It's so quiet. Jeez. Okay, you guys. Wow, that was an eventful stream. Holy shit. Did Tokihogushi could kick into high gear there? Damn. Jeez. That was an amazing sequence of events right there. Like some weird hiccups with how Tomoe reacted to Nagisa's body, but like that was really weird and kind of took me out of the situation. But damn, that was really exciting. I'm not sure, Void Dweller, but anyway. Tomorrow is the break day, but in 2 days, on Thursday, is Seabed, and then on Friday we're getting back to Higurashi. So, yep. And, yeah, there, by my calculations, there should be 2 more streams of Higurashi. And they should be shorter than usual, based on the information I have. So, yep, we are getting to the end of this arc. Told you it was going to be quite short. Yep, it's going to be 9 streams like I thought it would be. So, until then, I will say... I'll talk about that later, Void Dweller. But until then, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You are all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.